mother, as a doctor, and also as a public speaker. I know she has a lot of experience in dealing with issues like this. We really do appreciate it.
It's a pleasure to be here today, to be talking about a topic that is very dear to our hearts, especially to mine, drug abuse. I want to especially greet the Senior Advisor on Islamic Affairs to the Governor, Honorable Ahmed Abdullah Jebe. Thank you. The convener, Sheikh Abdul Hakim Abdul Rashid Abdul Razak. Yes, I was trying to make sure I don't miss it. I ended up missing it again. Thank you very much. I know you have written to our office many times, and I was counting it. I said this third time, no, I must try and come here. So I'm very happy that I was able to make it. Thank you very much. The Dean School of Management and Business Studies, Yaba College of Tech. I don't think it's called Yaba College of Tech anymore. Dr. Adeni Olubumi Fadikpe. Thank you very much for allowing us into your environment. The guest speaker, I think I must have missed that, Professor Kabir Olawale Paramole, ably represented by Dr. Mubarak Sani. Where are you? Nice meeting you. I hope I get a synopsis of what you have presented. The Assistant Commander of Narcotics, NDLE Lagos State, Mr. Innocent Adima. Thank you very much for that lecture that you gave. We also have so many distinguished personalities here in this room. I don't know whether all the names have been captured before I came in, but the head of editorial operations, Nigerian News Agency, Mrs. Antonia Ifeanyiwa Omowale. Thank you, nice meeting you. I acknowledge the presence of my sister from Amuwo MCC, Dr. Karim Shafara Adiola. Thank you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen here in the room, great Nigerian students, great Nigerian students, greatest of the 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 greatest. Great! We must not forget, like I said, it is an honor and pleasure to be here today. I am honored to be here today at the third edition of the AL-LAGOOSSY annual communal discourse. I commend the organizers for addressing the pressing issue of drug abuse through this year's edition of this annual event. Drug abuse remains a significant challenge that continues to plague our society, particularly affecting our youth, who are often the most vulnerable. The devastating effect of drug abuse extends beyond individuals, impacting families, domestic affairs, and the economy as a whole. Many young people fall into drug abuse due to peer pressure, unemployment, and mental health challenges. This dangerous path not only damages their physical and mental health, but also disrupts their education and strains family relationships. On the domestic front, drug abuse can tear families apart. It breeds violence, financial instability, and emotional trauma. Families which should be sources of support and love suffer deeply when a loved one succumbs to addiction. I know our representative from the NDL really threw a lot of light on this area. The Lagos State government has invested heavily in awareness programs, rehabilitation centers, and youth engagement platforms, all aimed at curbing this menace and restoring hope for a brighter future for our youth. However, despite these various interventions, the effort of the government alone are not enough. As of today, I know that we have 2 rehab centers that are identified under the state, and we have quite a number of the private ones. They are very expensive. Not a lot of people can afford them. Parents take their children to some of these rehab, they start, and after some time, they can't afford it and then they withdraw back. What happens to the individual? There is a critical need for a collective approach. Families, schools, communities, and the civil society organizations must work together to educate and support our youth, fostering a drug-free environment. We have those children that are not in a family setting. We find them under the bridges. Who takes care of those ones? The situation in our country demands that all hands must be on deck to halt the ravaging menace of this drug abuse before the lives and careers of our future leaders are brought to ruin. Again, referring to the man from NDLE, because I didn't meet the first, second, and third lecture, you emphasized a lot on the need for parental intervention. You also mentioned that of the institutional interventions and community interventions. Although we often focus on youth when discussing drug abuse, the reality is really that some older individuals, even parents, are silent captives of addiction, quietly struggling with its consequences. There was a day we went for an event, and on the road we noticed that all these sachets of alcohol that they sell for 50 naira were being sold by children that are age 7 and age 6. And you can imagine what happens. They were standing on the road and they were drinking it. So at that tender age of 6, that child is getting intoxicated. Most times, when we talk about drug abuse, it's not only about those drugs, amphetamine and those drugs that they talk about, cocaine and so, but even the mere fact that some of the children end up sniffing things like glue, kerosene, petrol. So that's why we have to be very vigilant when we have young ones around us, when they're in the day school and when they're in the boarding school. You see a child that keeps on sniffing his shoe all the time. You're wondering, is it that the shoe is dirty or it's smelly? It's not smelly. He might be doing something else. So we have to be like eagles, you know, be very, very vigilant and observant when we're around the young ones, whether at home or in the schools. The administration of our governor, Mr. Babajide Olushola Aderegbe SANWO-OLU, is making significant efforts to improve the welfare of the youth through gainful employment, modern educational infrastructure, health interventions, sports, and recreational activities. These efforts are part of a broader strategy to refocus the attention of our young population on what truly matters. The issue of ending drug abuse among our youth is one that is very dear to my heart. This is why I made the decision to constitute a special committee within my office to galvanize support and address this menace head-on. Recently, earlier in the year, we had a multi-stakeholders meeting in which we invited people from NDLE, from the different religious sectors, the Christian, the Muslim, the youths, the NGOs, and the military, the paramilitary, the different arms of government, and even those that are in the ministry. When you have a meeting like that, it's also important that you invite the people that form the policies too. So it's a total engagement of stakeholders that you need. It's not just one person or one sector that can take care of this issue. And so at that multi-stakeholders meeting, we started trying to understand what has been happening over the years in Lagos, Nigeria as a whole. We're being told by NDLE that we have a strong base in Lagos and Kano. A lot of emphasis on those areas. So we have peculiar problems. We have to find the solutions ourselves. We have discussions. We identify all the black spots wherever they are in Lagos, using our local governments, the 57 local governments and LCDAs to map out. And you know, we also have the wards. We have like 10 wards per local government, between 5-10 local governments. So that's roughly like 570. And each ward has another 10. So you really need to cone down like that to be able to identify the hotspots. The hotspots have been identified, but we need to go further to identify some of these hotspots. There are different ways of tackling the drug abuse issue in Lagos, Nigeria as a whole, depending on which side or aspect you want to look at. Now, for the Office of the First Lady, it's more of advocacy and being proactive in our fight against war, against drug abuse. For the NDLE person, it's similar, but they go a step higher to make sure that they catch the barons as much as possible. We don't go to that level. So, you know, you have to know where you want to pitch your tent. And then when you're looking at it from the medical aspect, it's a different ball game entirely. When you're looking at it from the legal aspect, it's a different ball game entirely. We still have a lot of work to do, a lot of research to do on how to solve our own problem in Nigeria, in Lagos. One of the things we have identified is that, and with all due respect, we'd like all of us to look at that area, is that when someone is arrested and taken to court, they're given a fine of, I don't know the exact figure, let's say 250,000. And I learned that a little sniff of this thing, the amount it costs is about 250 million. So when you catch someone and you tell them to pay 250,000, they pay the 250,000 and then they're back on the street again. You see, there's a mismatch somewhere that needs to be reviewed in that particular area. You know, unfortunately, most of the people that are being caught are the in-between people. They're not able to catch most of the drug barons that are destroying the lives of our future and greater tomorrow. You know, there are some people who's out there making money, and there's some young boy at the age of 5, 6, he hasn't even started his life. It's disrupted and destroyed on the way. And so it's a problem that affects each and every one of us. It is very close to us. It is not so far off. If we sample the people in this hall, really search deep down, there will be one or two of you that has either a relation or a brother or a far distance relation that is going through some kind of trauma due to drug abuse, the wrong way of using medications, the wrong way of using drugs. And so that is why this war against drug abuse is very, very important. It's very crucial. It is a war. It is a fight. There are different ways and tactics and strategies of fighting the war. You need to go back to the drawing table. You need to know which one are the low-hanging fruits that we can deal with. You need to know the short-term, medium-term, and long-term approach that we're going to use. I don't want anybody in the hall to say, I can't do it because I don't have money. No, it shouldn't be that attitude. The attitude is that I can. I can contribute in my own little way. My voice is my power. And sometimes I refer to the women in the house. We use our voice a lot, but we want to use it in a constructive manner most of the time. We don't want to be seen as women just like gossiping and things like that. We want to be seen as we can use this to turn a child around. We can talk, we can counsel, we can mentor these words that are with us. Some of them are your young siblings at home, some of them are the driver's child at home, some of them are the house help or the housekeeper at home. So at every stage, at every point, we need to talk. Prevention is better than cure. Being proactive at all times is very important. And so it's something we can do, it's something we are going to do, because we don't even have a choice now. Every street, there's someone. He just told us now, someone wakes up and takes a knife and stabs his mother. That is not normal. Somebody wakes up and stabs a paramount chief. That is not normal. So that means there's a war out there that needs to be fought. And in any best way you know how to fight this war, that is how we're going to fight it. If you know how to write, write well. If you know how to talk, talk well. If you know you have to dance, dance. If you know how to draw, draw. And if you go on the higher level where the policymakers are, and we have to debate this thing and talk, and it's as if we're fighting each other, it's because we want a change to happen. That is why we're arguing and fighting. Just, if there are laws that need to be put in place, they need to be put in place. And he just told us again that some of these people are victims. They are not criminals. People that find themselves vulnerable and ingest these things. So, if you now lock them up, you're even adding to their problem. So then you have the medical aspect of it, the counselors, the psychologists. So you can see that it is interwoven. It has this multi-stakeholder effect. And that is why it concerns everyone. You can see as the way I'm talking about it, I'm very passionate about it too. And our meetings that we hold, the stakeholders meeting, we have broken it down into having a meeting with the youth, having a meeting with the religious people, having a meeting with the tertiary institution, having a meeting with the NGOs, to know exactly what is happening out there in the field. And of course, having a meeting with the people that have the mandate, that's the NDLE people. I hope I have not taken much of your time boring you down with my passion about war against drug abuse, but I need to again commend the convener. You have been doing this for the past 3 years. You started in 2021. It shows how passionate you are about it. And my motto from my secondary school, if you went to the best secondary school in Lagos, is action, not words. Action, not words. Too much talk. We need to act. Action whatever we mean now. And that is what we're going to keep on doing. Have regular meetings. Sometimes we have the money to do these things. Sometimes we don't have the money, but we are not going to be perturbed. We are not going to be derailed. Because it's a war that affects so many people out there. And what we're looking for now is the statistics. Statistics in every ward. How many children are living in this ward? How many children are on drug? We need to get those statistics out. And if you don't get the statistics, the foreigners will come in and they take the statistics and project the statistics out there that all of them will know. So we need to defend ourselves by ensuring that we get the right statistics. With the right statistics, with the right information, we can plan better and know what to do. That is what it's all about, war against drug abuse. Once again, thank you very much for inviting me to this program.